Chapter 61. Starlight Master, Mysterious Energy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 61. Chapter 18. Starlight Master, Mysterious Energy. Li Hao was quite knowledgeable. He smiled and nodded, but he wasn't as calm as he appeared. Wang Ming. What was going on? He paid attention to Wang Ming, not because he was handsome or because his eyes were bright, but because he could actually vaguely see a faint starlight. Although this starlight wasn't as bright as Lu Long's and the others, the feeling it gave Li Hao was that it was even more resplendent. Yes, there wasn't a lot. It seemed to be very, very little. However, the starlight was so dazzling that Li Hao could feel the coldness and brilliance of the starlight from a distance. Starlight Division. Such a term suddenly appeared in his mind. There were two types of transcendence in the realm of superpowers. A God-tier master who was born to be a transcendent and a starlight master who was able to absorb energy. No matter which type, they were both transcendents. At this moment, Li Hao suddenly thought of the starlight master. His expression didn't change and was as gentle as ever, but he was shocked in his heart. Why did a starlight master suddenly appear? Who sent them? Red Shadow. Night Patrolman. There should only be these two parties, so were they the Red Shadow's people or the Night Patrol's people? Why did he happen to come to the confidential room and was right beside him? It was just an ordinary new job. How could a transcendent enter the important room? There was obviously a problem. The others couldn't see the starlight on Wang Ming's body, but he could see it clearly. Can Lu Long and the others see it? He seemed to have forgotten to ask how to distinguish transcendence yesterday. BVEC no. At this moment, Li Hao suddenly felt cold all over. A transcendent had actually appeared beside him. Damn it. Was it the Night Patrolman? If it was the Night Patrol, it would be fine. But if it was the Red Shadow, it would be too terrifying. The Silver City was no longer safe. This was the headquarters of the inspection office. Brother Hao. A faint voice interrupted Li Hao's thoughts. Li Hao raised his head. Wang Ming was also looking at him with a bright smile. Brother Hao, you're a senior, so you should be a bit older than me. From now on, I'll call you Brother Hao, and you can call me Wang Ming. Li Hao smiled. His smile was a little fake. Of course, no one thought it was fake. Li Hao had always smiled like this. You're too polite. Li Hao said enviously, I came here a year earlier, but I'm a dabbler. I've only become a monk halfway. You're different, you graduated from the inspection college and are more professional than me. By the way, which inspection college did you graduate from? From the Silver City. The Silver City also had an inspection academy, which was actually a reserve for the inspection division. Most of the members of the inspection division came from the inspection academy. No, I'm from White Moon City. Wang Ming shook his head with a brilliant smile. I graduated from the White Moon Inspection College. Baiyue Patrol Academy. Chen Na was surprised. Wang Ming nodded slightly and didn't say much, as if he didn't care too much about Chen Na. As for Li Hao, he was slightly moved. White Moon City. There were several cities near the Silver City. They were all similar in size, with a population of just over 1 million. However, 300 miles away from Silver City, there was another large city, White Moon City. White Moon City also had a very special position. It was the capital of Silver Moon Province. Silver Moon Province was a mix of the names of Silver City and White Moon City. The Silver City was still in front. However, this was something that had happened many years ago. As time passed, Silver City's geographical location was not good. Gradually, the population moved out, and a large number of people poured out. Today, Silver City was only an ordinary city among the 32 cities in Silver Moon Province. It was said that the higher-ups were even thinking of changing the name of the province to Moonshine Province. Within the province, the second largest city was Yaoguang City, and it was much more prosperous than Silver City. Of course, there was no conclusion to this matter. It was said that the Silver City had rejected it many times. After all, the Silver City had once been glorious. These thoughts flashed through Li Hao's mind. A graduate from the Provincial Inspection College actually came here. Whether this identity is real or fake, it's still a problem. Sure enough, it's so far away that I can't find it. Chen Na was a little surprised and envious. Wang Ming, then why are you here? Isn't Silver City pretty good? Wang Ming asked with a bright smile. Of course. It's mainly because the competition and pressure in White Moon City are too high, so it's not easy to improve. My family suggested that I come here. The competition and pressure here are less, so I'll see if I can improve a little and then transfer back. Understood. Chen Na nodded. That's not bad. Although the Silver City is small, the chances of promotion are not small. We have fewer people, which means that we have a higher chance of promotion. The competition in the big city is too intense. Your choice is quite wise. I think so too. Wang Ming's smile became even more brilliant and exceptionally handsome. Even Chen Na was a little attracted to him. She quickly turned to look at Li Hao, as if trying to calm herself down. Li Hao, on the other hand, was rather helpless. What was the meaning of this? You used to say that I was very handsome. Women. Ha. Of course, this was not the time to be calculative. Li Hao also gradually calmed down. What was there to be afraid of? Counter soldiers with arms, water with earth. At this point, he could instantly notice the difference in the other party. This was his advantage. No matter who the other party was, it had already happened. Who cared? After a simple conversation with Wang Ming, Li Hao directly quit and said, Chen Na, take Wang Ming with you. I'm going out for a bit. Where are you going? The law enforcement team. Again. Li Hao laughed. For the mission at the end of the month, didn't I accept the mission to protect the teachers and students of the Silver City Ancient Academy? I have to take over and train them to avoid any problems. Chapter 62. Starlight Master, Mysterious Energy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 62. Chapter 18 Starlight Master, Mysterious Energy. I asked you if you're going, and you said you're not going. Now you're going again. Chen Na was speechless. Alright, I'll take Wang Ming. You're still not happy to have such a handsome man like Wang Ming. Li Hao joked. Then he looked at Wang Ming and smiled. Wang Ming, learn from Chen Na. It's very simple. You're a top student, so you can take over very quickly. Wang Ming smiled warmly, nodded, and said, Brother Hao, let's have dinner together tonight. It's my treat. I'm new here, and you're both my masters, so I have to treat you. Good, good. Chen Na hurriedly nodded. Li Hao had wanted to refuse, but after some thought, he smiled and nodded. Alright, then I'll pay. With that, he got up and left. Treat. Please, my ass. This guy was most likely coming for him. It was either the Red Shadows people who were watching him or the night patrol had sent someone. As for the reason why the night watchman had sent people here, they were so low-key. It was nothing more than trying to trick the Red Shadows people. Or perhaps, these people knew about the situation in Silver City, but they kept it a secret. Now, they might have determined that the Red Shadows' target was Li Hao, so they sent people to approach. Perhaps he didn't even contact the Silver City and just came here to observe the situation. He's so bold to come to the inspection office. Do the Red Shadow Supers have such guts? After all, he's the Silver City's highest law enforcement agency. He's probably a night patrol. Li Hao didn't know how accurate his judgment was, but he was 80% sure that Wang Ming was a night patrol. Starlight Master. Good Lord, he was so young. Of course, his age might not be true. Li Hao's brain worked quickly. Was this a good or bad thing? If he was a night patrolman, that was actually a good thing. I was worried that Lu Long might not be able to handle it, but if this guy is a night patrolman, then I have more confidence. With this thought in mind, Li Hao entered the basement of the law enforcement team. I'm too late. Lu Long had been there for a long time, but Li Hao didn't care. He said casually, there are a few new people in the office. One of them is following me, probably to hand over the work. I took care of him for a while and gave him some instructions. I have to say, the patrol officer of White Moon City is very professional. He got it done easily the moment he came. Lu Long nodded and didn't mind. Seeing this, Li Hao could only conclude that either Lu Long really didn't know, or he was too shrewd. Li Hao asked again, Boss, did you discover anything last night? Is there someone following me? It's hard to say. It's possible. I didn't find anything when I went there. At this moment, Li Hao was very concerned about this matter, not the red shadow, but something else. He quickly said, Boss, can ordinary people like us discover Starlight Masters? What's the difference between us and the other party? Lu Long was startled. Lu Yen didn't say. No, I didn't. Lu Long shook his head. Lu Yen was indeed unreliable. He quickly explained, normally, there's not much difference. Supers are humans, and so are we. The real difference is when the other party uses their superpowers. Once a Starlight Master uses their mysterious energy, there will be energy fluctuations. Of course, it's hard for ordinary people to detect it, but we martial masters can sense it. As for non-martial masters, Lu Long explained. He glanced at Li Hao and thought of something. I remember now. The team also has a super detector that can sense super fluctuations. It's prepared for ordinary people. Ultra-power detector. Right. Lu Long nodded. As long as the other party uses his superpower, the detector will sense it when he is within 100 meters of you. 100 meters. It was very useless. Li Hao frowned. The detection range is so small. The supers are only 100 meters away from us. They even used their powers. I'm probably dead. There's no other way. Lu Long shook his head and said, the rise of supers has not been that long. It's already good that they have developed so far. Furthermore, the ones who deal with supers are usually either powerful martial masters or supers. There's no need for detectors. The detectors are only placed in certain areas to prevent supers from sneaking in. Oh. Then, Li Hao said curiously, if supers don't use their mysterious abilities, we won't be able to tell them apart, right? Not necessarily. There are also supers with investigative abilities who can discover it. Also, when supers reach a certain level, they can sense the fluctuations of the mysterious energy in the other party's body without the other party activating the mysterious energy. Of course, that's still far from us. Is that so? Li Hao said regretfully. I thought that supers would appear with their own radiance and could be seen at a glance. What are you thinking? How is that possible? Lu Long laughed. Of course, if the supers are weak and are newbies with strong superpowers, even a normal person can feel the difference if they get close. Understood. Li Hao nodded. I understand. You can't see the starlight of the mysterious energy either. I don't know if you're too weak, or you haven't become a superpower, or other supers can't see it. He seemed to be a little special. It was no wonder that the guys who discovered the red shadow seemed to have disappeared. There might be something else hidden within. Boss, can I have a detector? Li Hao asked. Lu Long nodded his head, I was going to give it to you anyway. It's also a form of precaution, although the effect isn't great. Li Hao didn't care. Whether it was effective or not was another matter. But with the super detector, perhaps. He could take the opportunity to expose Wang Ming. He couldn't say it now. Otherwise, it might arouse Lu Long's suspicion, but with the super detector on him and Wang Ming being a Starlight Master, Li Hao would find a way to expose him no matter whether he used the mysterious energy or not. At the very least, Lu Long was protecting him, but it was hard to say for the night patrolman. Regardless of whether the other party was a night patrolman or a red shadow, Li Hao had to let Lu Long know and make some preparations. Of course, he couldn't be too deliberate. While Li Hao was thinking about his plan, Lu Long didn't say anything more and led him silently to the basement. There was no one inside. Li Hao vaguely saw Dr. Yunyao at the door of a room, seemingly busy with something. After entering the deepest part of the basement, Lu Long stopped at the entrance of a metal house. The door was made of metal. This is the warehouse of the demon hunting squad. Lu Long coldly explained, the things inside were exchanged with the lives of our brothers. You're a newbie, and you'll soon be used as bait again, so I've made an exception this time to bring you in. Furthermore, you'll get an opportunity that no one else has, to see the true mysterious energy, the incomparably precious mysterious energy. Lu Long said solemnly. He was right, he had exchanged his life for it. Li Hao's interest was instantly piqued. Mysterious energy. This was the first time he had come into contact with a mysterious energy other than the one in the Starry Sky Sword. Was the mysterious energy here the same as the one in the Starry Sky Sword? His teacher had said that the mysterious energy on extraordinary items was very weak and small. Then, would he be able to see the incomparably rich mysterious energy next? Li Hao was excited. He seemed to have seen a river of starlight. Of course, he knew that it was a delusion, but he couldn't help but be tempted. As for Lu Long, he glanced at him and nodded slightly, revealing an invisible smile. This was a normal reaction. I want you to understand that even if you have the Li family's sword and have come into contact with the mysterious energy, it's nothing. The real mysterious energy is not comparable to those weak extraordinary items. Chapter 63. A man is inferior to a dog. 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 63. A man is inferior to a dog. 1. The metal door of the warehouse was right below the law enforcement team building. The security was quite tight. Lu Long didn't rush in until Yunyao came over with disheveled hair, then he opened the door. Li Hao nodded at Yunyao. He didn't know how to address her, so he just smiled and didn't say anything. This doctor was very important to the team. Li Hao felt that she was kind, but he also kept Lu Yan's warning in mind. It wasn't that he had to believe Lu Yan, but that Lu Yan's fear, in Li Hao's opinion, was real. If Lu Yan was afraid of this doctor, it meant that he was not someone to be trifled with. Not bad. Just as Li Hao was looking forward to entering, Yunyao suddenly looked at him and said, "Not bad." Li Hao was stunned. "Are you talking to me?" Lu Long also looked at Yunyao in surprise. "What's not bad?" In the team, Yunyao didn't talk much, but her position was very important. It was just that what she said today was a little strange. "It's nothing." Yunyao smiled. "Look at Li Hao. He seems to have trained well after returning." With just one sentence, he had changed the topic. Li Hao, on the other hand, was a little worried. Good training. It was indeed not bad. He had absorbed quite a lot of mysterious energy, but when Li Hao looked at it, the mysterious energy on the surface of his body had completely dissipated, but there was some inside his body. There was nothing he could do about it. It was impossible to absorb and digest all of it. Could it be that this person had seen through it? He had to think this way. It was said that this person specialized in extracting mysterious energy in the team. Ordinary people could not see the mysterious energy, so how did Yunyao extract it? While he was thinking, Lu Long had already opened the warehouse door. A warehouse made entirely of metal. There wasn't even an air vent. The ground was also made of metal. Walking on it, one could even feel the heaviness of the metal. It was definitely not thin. The demon hunting squad had really put in a lot of effort, and it was also very important. The warehouse wasn't big and it wasn't messy at all. There weren't many areas, only 3 small rooms, each with a door. The mysterious energy was placed in the 3rd small room. Lu Long didn't introduce the first 2 to each other, nor did he open the door for Li Hao to see. He walked directly to the door of the 3rd room. This time, it wasn't Lu Long who opened the door, but Yunyao. Yunyao took out the key, and there was a faint starlight on it. Li Hao was slightly shocked. This extraordinary item. This key was actually an extraordinary item. Although the starlight was very weak, if there was starlight, which was the mysterious energy, it should be an extraordinary item, right? The demon hunting squad really valued the mysterious energy. Ka, with a soft sound, the key was turned, and the starlight fluctuated slightly. Lu Long couldn't see it, but Li Hao could clearly see the fluctuation of the starlight. As the starlight fluctuated, the door was opened. At this moment, Lu Long also said coldly and arrogantly, "The warehouse where the mysterious energy is stored was built by the demon hunting squad at a great cost. Even supers can't open it without the key." Amazing. Li Hao nodded and praised. As for how powerful he was, it was just a casual remark. If supers could really kill their way here, would the key still matter? As for the storage room, it was just to prevent thieves, and the rest were not of much use. The iron door was opened, and this time, a large glass cover came into view. It was a very complicated glass cover device. It occupied more than half of the room. Li Hao's eyes flickered. Starlight. The moment he saw the glass cover, he saw starlight. It was different from the starlight energy he had seen before. The starlight energy he had seen before had all come from the jade sword. They were all the true colors of starlight, with some feeling of twinkling starlight and a bit of gloominess. However, at this moment, the starlight energy he saw seemed to be carrying something else. The glass cover seemed to be divided into several areas. In one area, the starlight seemed to be burning. In one area, there seemed to be lightning flashing in the starlight energy. There was also an area where starlight could be mixed with some black mist. The last small area was similar to the starlight that Li Hao usually saw. It was just pure starlight and nothing else. Of course, it felt a little messy. While Li Hao was watching, Lu Long was also watching, his eyes filled with infatuation. It was as if he could see it at this moment. Sure enough, the next moment, Li Hao heard Lu Long say with a sigh, "This is the mysterious energy. Do you see it?" Li Hao was shocked. Did you see that? He had been discovered. Lu Long knew that he could see it. Very quickly, he forced himself to calm down. No, that shouldn't be the case. He glanced at Lu Long from the corner of his eyes, and as expected, Lu Long sighed again. Yunyao is really capable. Under normal circumstances, mysterious energy can't be seen. However, Yunyao can capture the mysterious energy and imprison it in the ice crystal shield through special means. She can even reveal its original appearance, which can be seen by the naked eye. Li Hao looked at Yunyao in surprise. In other words, everyone could see the starlight at this moment, and it was this woman's doing. What kind of method was this? Lu Long had said before that normal people could not see it. Even supers could not see it. Yunyao was calm. Seeing Li Hao look at her, she smiled and said softly, "Brother Lu is too kind, it's just a small trick." The mysterious energy was also a type of energy. Even if the energy was invisible, it still existed in essence. To make it visible to the naked eye, it's actually very simple. We just have to dye this energy. Chapter 64. A man is inferior to a dog. 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 64. A man is inferior to a dog, too, dying. Li Hao understood what he meant, but he didn't understand. How could he dye it so that others could see it? Seeing that Li Hao was a little curious, Yun Yao chuckled. The dyeing method isn't too difficult. In fact, there are many ways to do it. The real difficulty is to not let the mysterious energy dissipate. And this is all thanks to the ice crystal shield. Strictly speaking, it's all thanks to Professor Yuan Shuo. Li Hao was stunned for a moment, but he soon thought of something. My teacher discovered the ice crystal barrier. Right. Yun Yao seemed to worship Yuan Shuo. Or rather, anyone who was slightly involved in scientific research would know about Yuan Shuo, especially when it came to superpowers. The ice crystal was discovered by your teacher in an ancient ruin. At first, no one paid attention to it. Later, Professor Yuan Shuo discovered the biggest function of the ice crystal, which was to isolate the overflow of energy. Yun Yao sighed. If it wasn't for the discovery of ice crystals, the development of superpowers would have lagged behind by many years. It was because of the discovery of ice crystals that the night patrollers were able to store some mysterious energy and draw it into their bodies, allowing many people to become supers. Lu Long also nodded. That's right, the discovery of the ice crystal is indeed very useful. More than 10 years ago, there were no ice crystals. At that time, the night patrollers had already been established. However, other than God-tier masters blessed by the heavens, only a few people could join them every year. The night patrollers had to inherit the mysterious abilities themselves and guide the new people to transform. In this way, not only was it dangerous, but the price to pay was not small. It was only after the appearance of the ice crystals that the development of the Nightwalker team increased rapidly. At this moment, Li Hao felt an indescribable pride. Teacher, you're amazing. So, the development of superpowers had a lot to do with his teacher. Soon, Li Hao thought of something and said, then why can't my teacher become a super? First, his martial cultivation is strong. The second. Your teacher isn't a good person either. He knows too much about superpowers and he's also hiding a lot of things. There's even a part of the ancient ruins that he hasn't explored yet. He didn't even reveal it. Everyone is guessing that your teacher must still have a few more archaeological ruins under his control. So, if your teacher really became a super. What's the matter with the night patrollers? There's another key point, Lu Long added. With your teacher's strength, once he really transforms into a super, and he obtains the benefits from the ancient ruins, if he really succeeds, he might become one of the strongest existences among the Night Watchers. Fear. Li Hao said softly, deep in thought. Yes, I'm afraid. Yes. Lu Long nodded and said, but I think your teacher is about to become a super. Why do you say that? Li Hao asked. He quickly thought of something and said in a deep voice, Boss, are you saying that the night patrollers have grown so much stronger that even if my teacher becomes a superhuman, they'll feel that they can control him and there's no need to be afraid? Right. Lu Long nodded. Smart. A little bit of it. The appearance of superpowers was too late. They only appeared 20 years ago, and 20 years ago, Yuan Shuo was already a top martial master. If he became a superhuman first, with Yuan Shuo's strength and his knowledge of ancient civilization, he might become the number one in the field of superpowers. That would be too terrifying. There were times when one had to be on guard. Yuan Shuo wasn't a government official, nor was he an evil person, but he wasn't a good person through and through. When one practiced martial arts to the point of breaking 100, it was almost inevitable that they would be aggressive and kill people. Under such circumstances, whether it was for the sake of the night patrollers' development or to suppress Yuan Shuo, the night patrollers did not dare to let Yuan Shuo succeed soon. But now, it might be almost time. There was a strong night watcher who could suppress Yuan Shuo. Yuan Shuo was 20 years late, and now that he had become a Starlight Master, there was nothing to be afraid of. Li Hao thought for a moment. I'm still confused about one thing. Did my teacher just accept his fate and work for the night patrolman? Lu Long glanced at him and smiled. You should know that the night patrollers represent the government. No matter how strong one person was, there was a limit. Besides, the night patrolman doesn't take everything. He has to give, for example, protecting your teacher. Protect. Of course. Lu Long's smile was meaningful. Li Hao, do you think that a martial master with over 100 points doesn't have a single enemy? All dead. This was also one of the reasons why Yuan Shuo was so obedient and rarely left the ancient academy. Whenever he went out, he would be protected by the night patrols. Firstly, he has made great contributions to the field of superpowers. Secondly, he has offended too many people in the past, so he's actually taking refuge in the ancient academy. Seek refuge. This was something that Li Hao had never expected. He was a little surprised, but also a little taken for granted. His teacher might really have an enemy. No wonder he obediently accepted his fate and worked for the night patrol. Otherwise, with his teacher's personality, if the night patrolman did not let him become a super, he would have fallen out with them long ago. Why would he continue to work for them? Li Hao stopped asking questions. He looked around and asked, Boss, is the mysterious energy here part of our team's inventory? The head isn't here. Lu Long glanced at him and quickly said, You don't understand. Don't think that the mysterious energy doesn't take up a lot of space here, it's actually a lot. There was a total of 12 cubic meters of mysterious energy here. The mysterious energy would only be compressed when it entered the human body or some special items. 12 cubic meters was the entire inventory of the team. And ice crystals are hard to come by. With so many ice crystal barriers, it's already a huge expense. This is our team's only warehouse of mysterious energy. Chapter 65. A man is inferior to a dog. 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 65. A man is inferior to a dog. 3. All of them. Li Hao was slightly stunned. He took another look and found that it was indeed quite a lot. 12 cubic meters was about the same. But did the demon hunting team only have this much stock? He took a closer look and found it strange. The amount of mysterious energy that he had absorbed from the jade sword and dispersed seemed to be quite a lot. Could it be that the quality was different? The quality here is higher. Boss, then. How much can I get? You're a newbie and need to protect yourself. This time, I've decided to give you 2 attribute-less mysterious abilities. Attribute-less mysterious energy means that it doesn't contain any other special attribute abilities, so it's easier to absorb and safer. However, there's also a drawback. Attribute-less mystic energy is often easier to improve one's physique, which is the strength of a martial master. It's not easy to open the superpower lock and it's difficult to step into the supernatural realm. He briefly explained the pros and cons and said, however, if the mysterious attribute energy doesn't match you, the danger will increase greatly. We're not supers, and it'll be difficult to save you, so you can choose for yourself. Whether you choose the mysterious attribute energy or not, it's both sides. Seeing that Li Hao didn't seem to be too excited, he suddenly laughed. Li Hao, how much do you earn a month now? Li Hao was stunned. Salary. After thinking for a while, Li Hao quickly said, I'm a level 3 patrol inspector. Before I became a full-time patrol inspector, I was paid 1,000 star dollars a month. After becoming a full-time employee, he now received 2,000 star dollars a month, which was a lot higher. If you can enter the law enforcement team and be promoted to a level 2 patrol examiner, that would be 4,000 star dollars a month. 4,000 star dollars was not low. Li Hao was a single man, but he often bought groceries. A gene of high-quality rice only cost 1 star dollar. Even 1,000 star coins during the internship was enough for Li Hao to live a decent life. Going out to eat fast food only cost $5 dollars. Eating 3 meals a day would only cost 450 star coins a month. It was enough to survive anyway. If he could level up, he would earn 4,000 star coins a month. Li Hao had to consider whether he should get a wife to help him spend the money. At this time, Lu Long's smile was somewhat strange. In other words, it's 2,000 star dollars a month now, right? Then do you know how much a mysterious energy is sold for outside? You can sell it. Li Hao was stunned again. Could this thing be sold? Not on the surface, but there are many in the dark. Lu Long sneered, so many big shots and rich people are just ordinary people. Supers not only had strong combat power, but they could also live longer. Who didn't want to become a superhuman? However, on the government side, other than the night patrolmen who can receive them formally, there are only God-tier masters. There are no other official channels, so naturally, the black market was born. Li Hao somewhat understood. He nodded slightly. That's right. If I had the money but couldn't become a super through proper channels, I might have bought it too. This was human nature. He had so much money, but he could not become a super. What a pity. The black market price isn't low, right? It was very difficult to be mysterious. Otherwise, everyone would be supers. Of course. How much do you think the black market price is worth? Lu Long asked. 100,000. Li Hao thought for a moment and felt that it was too low. After all, it was very rare. After some consideration, he said, 500,000. This was the highest price he could imagine. According to his current salary, 24,000 yuan for a year without food and water would take him more than 20 years. Including his expenses, it would take more than 30 years to afford a square meter. That's expensive enough, right? Patrol inspectors were considered to be a group of people with high salaries. Under normal circumstances, the average person in Silver City was less than 1,000 star dollars, which meant that it would take 50 to 60 years to afford a square. You're quite bold. Lu Long laughed. But it's still too low. Black market price, 1 million per cubic meter. Li Hao took a deep breath. So expensive. If he didn't get a promotion, he might not be able to afford 1 million yuan in his life. Aren't you excited? I'm giving you 2 million for free. Lu Long looked at him and smiled. Li Hao wasn't as excited as he had imagined. He smiled and said, Boss, in my imagination, things in the supernatural realm have already transcended the ordinary and have nothing to do with money. Actually, no matter how expensive it is, it's the same to me. You have a good attitude. Unfortunately, you're overthinking it. Lu Long laughed for real this time. You think that being a superhuman means you're above the ordinary. What a joke. Eating, drinking, and peeing all required money. Buying and selling superpower items requires money. As long as this society is still filled with ordinary people, money is something that no one can avoid. If you don't have money, where will you live? Was he really living in the wilderness? No money. Do you know how much ice crystals cost? If you don't have money, where can you buy this to preserve the mysterious energy? If you don't have money, you can't even walk out of the house. Do supers have the ability to fly? Li Hao was stunned by her words. He really felt that as long as he became a super, he did not need to worry about money. But after Lu Long's words, Li Hao suddenly realized that supers were actually human too. As a human, he had to survive. Then, did my salary increase after I joined the demon hunting squad? Li Hao asked, a little dazed. Lu Long was speechless. This guy was actually thinking about this at this moment. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but he still nodded. It's increased. It's increased on the first day you joined. 10,000 star dollars a month. Li Hao's heart skipped a beat. Doesn't that mean that the salary is higher than that of a first-level inspector? He asked. Chapter 66. A man is inferior to a dog. 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 66. A man is inferior to a dog. 4. A level 1 patrol inspector would only cost about 800 to 900 yuan. Of course, with some other bonuses, it would be over 10,000 yuan. N. Lu Long nodded and didn't continue. I'm only saying this to let you understand that mystery can be very precious. Don't think it's cheap. If you don't join a demon hunting squad, you won't be able to afford it in your entire life. Li Hao smiled this time. Valuable. That's not a bad thing. Of course, money was not important at this time. He could not wait to absorb it. He wanted to see if the mysterious energy here was the same as the one in his jade sword, and if the effect was better. Boss, how do I absorb it? He looked at Lu Long, and Lu Long handed him a small booklet. This is the energy drawing technique. Everyone, including the Night Watchers, uses it. It's the standard technique for drawing energy into one's body. Even some of the members of the superpower organizations outside use it. The Night Patrol's cultivation technique. Li Hao's interest was immediately piqued. He hurriedly took it and opened it. It was a very thin booklet. Li Hao's memory wasn't bad. After a glance, he flipped to the second page, and then the third page. That was all. Just 3 pages. It was about 1,000 words. This was the energy absorption method used by all the large organizations. It was the standard method for supers to absorb mysterious energy. Li Hao, on the other hand, felt extremely strange. I'll go. This. Why was this a little similar to the breathing technique of the 5 birds technique? It wasn't the breathing technique of 5 birds that was taught later, but the breathing technique that Li Hao had practiced with the ape art at the beginning. On the first day, Li Hao had drunk water with this, and the utilization rate of the mysterious energy was actually very low. If the breathing technique of 5 birds could absorb and preserve 70% of the mysterious energy, then the breathing technique he used at the beginning could only preserve 30% at most. The rest had all leaked out. In Li Hao's opinion, this energy drawing technique was at most on the same level as the breathing technique he had learned in the beginning. Just as Li Hao was thinking, Lu Long pretended to be serious and said, this thing must not be spread. Although many organizations had already obtained it, they only dared to use it secretly. Once the night patrollers found out, they would punish them severely. Of course, it's not a big problem if the inspection office uses it, but you're not allowed to pass it on to outsiders. He was quite serious, and Li Hao could only nod. I've already learned this a few years ago. Of course, it's not exactly the same, but it's almost the same. Now that I have the breathing technique of 5 birds, I can't even be bothered to learn it. However, his teacher had also said that it couldn't be taught to outsiders. Li Hao didn't plan to use the breathing technique of 5 birds to memorize the energy drawing technique. Li Hao quickly said, Boss, I've learned it. Can we start? Lu Long nodded and glanced at Yunyao. Yunyao said, Give me your right hand. She opened a small hole on the ice crystal cover, and the mysterious energy did not leak out. This kind of device was very special. The mysterious energy inside would not leak out, but it was also very limited. Li Hao extended his hand, and Yunyao pointed at him. Put your hand in and activate the energy drawing technique. The mysterious energy will follow the circulation of your technique and enter your body. However, remember, if the absorption rate in your body is too low and the mysterious energy leaks out, it will quickly dissipate. Li Hao knew this. He asked in confusion, then why don't you let my entire body enter the ice crystal barrier? That way, even if it seeps out, it can be used again. This was the Black Panther's doing. It had used the mysterious energy that Li Hao had leaked out for the second time. Since it's so precious, I should just recycle it. Yunyao laughed, first of all, the cost of such a large ice crystal shield is too great. Second, if the mysterious energy that flowed out of his body was used again, the efficiency would be lower and the rejection would be greater. The more times mystery could be used, the greater the rejection with the person who used it later. The mysterious energy in our warehouse can be considered to have been used twice, or even thrice. Because this was to deprive others. In short, rather than recycling waste, it was better to dissipate it directly. If the rejection was too great, not only would the effect not be good, but it might also cause greater damage. So it's like this. Li Hao understood. He thought of Black Panther. This dog didn't care about this. It seemed that his appetite was very complicated, so he didn't care. As for the damage, he didn't see any damage. He still ate with a greasy face. At this moment, his arm had already reached in. At a speed visible to the naked eye, a mysterious energy quickly drilled into his palm. This was the first time Li Hao had come into contact with the mysterious energy emitted by the non-jade sword. He immediately activated the energy drawing technique. In the next moment, Li Hao's heart moved. Why did she feel so uncomfortable? He felt very comfortable absorbing the jade sword's mysterious energy. Although he felt a little bloated, it was indeed very comfortable. But this time, Li Hao felt uncomfortable. He felt that the mysterious energy was not obedient at all. It moved wildly on his arm and even flowed to various parts of his body. The impact was extremely strong. There was a faint sense of rejection. Is this what Yunyao meant by the sense of rejection after being used multiple times? Li Hao instantly reacted. He was somewhat puzzled and strange. This meant that the mysterious energy on the jade sword might be first hand, but the energy here was definitely second hand or even third hand. Therefore, the difficulty of absorption was higher, and the rush was greater. Therefore, what the Black Panther had absorbed was actually second hand, and what he had absorbed might not even be as good as what the Black Panther had absorbed. A man was worse than a dog. Li Hao thought, but he didn't dare to show it. He worked hard to absorb the mysterious energy. Inside the ice crystal shield, the mysterious energy kept pouring into his body. The veins on Li Hao's arm bulged, and some blood even started to flow out. The rejection force was too strong, causing the capillaries to burst. The quality of second hand goods is just a little worse. Li Hao cursed in his heart. At this moment, he suddenly felt that the mysterious energy provided by the jade sword was really fragrant. He had always felt that the mysterious energy was so gentle, but now he understood. It was so King uncomfortable. No wonder people said that people would die if they tried to draw energy into their bodies. He didn't understand it before, but now he really did. With such a strong impact, his physique was considered quite strong. Even so, his blood vessels were still ruptured. Even if an ordinary person were to be hit by the attribute less mysterious energy, their body might explode. If I were to use it 3 or 4 times, wouldn't I be killed by the impact? At this time, Lu Long's voice still rang in his ears, not bad. The rejection force wasn't too strong, very good. It seems that your body constitution is not bad. You only lost a little blood. I thought you would need me to save you. This isn't too big. Li Hao instantly sympathized with the others. Didn't they almost die the first time they absorbed the mysterious energy? He tried his best not to think about the rejection force and continued to absorb. After a while, Lu Long's voice came again, "All right, you can take out your arm and bandage it. I've been training for the past 2 days, and the effect is not bad. At least 30% of my mystic energy is retained. It's all right." Li Hao's face was stiff. No more. No more. The 2 mysterious powers were gone just like that. F***ck. He felt it for a moment. This was probably Probably similar to the second-hand soup left by the Black Panther on his first night. Just this. 2 million. At this moment, Li Hao was speechless and deeply disappointed. I'll go. That's too little. It's not even as much as the amount I absorbed last night. No, it's far less. However, Lu Long still had a pained expression. Seeing Li Hao's dazed look, he said proudly, now you see how powerful and precious the mysterious energy is. Work hard and don't let me down. If you do well this time and successfully kill the other party, I'll reward you with 2 more rewards. Li Hao smiled stiffly. In other words, I've worked so hard and risked my life to kill the Red Shadow, and you're only going to reward me 2 times. I'm living worse than a dog. This dog Black Panther, how much of my mysterious energy has it eaten? At this moment, Li Hao completely understood why the Red Shadow was eyeing the weapons of the 8 great families. If it was him, he would also be eyeing them. Chapter 67. Discovering a New Continent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 67. Chapter 20. Discovering a New Continent in the warehouse. Is there a lot of mysterious energy accumulated in your body, and you're feeling uncomfortable? Lu Long quickly asked. Li Hao nodded. This was true. This time, the mysterious energy felt a bit difficult to digest. Moreover, compared to the mysterious energy in the Jade Sword, the mysterious energy in the warehouse was somewhat different. To be specific, it dissipated a bit slower. One had to know that the mysterious energy absorbed by the Jade Sword would actually dissipate very quickly if Li Hao hadn't digested it after absorbing it for a while. Of course, the Black Panther was lucky. So, even though Li Hao had absorbed a lot last night, more than half of it had been wasted on the Black Panther, who seemed to be better at absorbing. This time, Li Hao didn't dare to use the breathing technique of 5 birds. In fact, he didn't absorb much. If he had absorbed the mysterious energy in the Jade Sword, it would have overflowed from his body and dissipated. However, there was none here. Li Hao could feel that more than half of it was still in his body and had yet to be absorbed. Strange. At this moment, Li Hao also felt strange. How could these 2 kinds of mysteries be different? Could it be easier to store it if it was used again? He couldn't understand. While he was still thinking, Lu Long suddenly shouted, since you haven't absorbed it, what are you doing standing here? Get over there and practice martial arts. Are you going to wait for this precious mystery to dissipate? Li Hao didn't say anything and immediately ran outside. Lu Long's explosive shout was somewhat terrifying, so it was better not to provoke him. In the fitness area. The equipment here was much better than at home. Although Li Hao didn't think much of these 2 mysterious energies, which were small in quantity and hard to digest, he quickly began to practice the 5 birds technique to avoid wasting them. He felt that it was fine to waste a little, but when he thought about how many times he could absorb the mysterious energy from the Jade Sword, Li Hao quickly dispelled this idea. According to his teacher, there was a limit to the amount of mystical power in the supernatural items. It would soon be completely absorbed. At this moment, he still had to cherish it. He started practicing the ape art again. Leaping into the air, jumping, monkey fist, pulling the hanging ring in mid-air, jumping around with the help of force. Gradually, Li Hao's expression became strange. The mysterious energy that he had just absorbed seemed to be activated at this moment. Ha! Li Hao shouted in a low voice, the veins on his face bulging. He suddenly felt extremely painful and twitched. Li Hao thought that there was something wrong with him. The mysterious energy just now was crazily destroying his body. He was just about to ask for help when he heard Lu Long shout, "Don't stop, continue. The mysterious energy is only showing its effect now. The greatest use of the mysterious energy is to destroy. Rebirth from destruction. I'll continuously forge your body, your bloodline, your bones. I'll let you go through hardships and live towards death." Li Hao was in great pain. Something's wrong. Such a thought flashed through his mind. Something was wrong, something was definitely wrong. Rebirth from destruction. No, it wasn't like that. The Jade Sword's mysterious energy he absorbed wasn't destructive. It would dissipate after absorbing too much and wouldn't damage your body. Instead, it would nourish you. Yes, in Li Hao's opinion, this was different. It was definitely different. The mysterious energy in the Jade Sword was gentle and pure, but the energy he had just absorbed was too violent. Boss. It hurts. Is there a problem? What problem is there? Lu Long shouted angrily. This was the mystery energy. If he practiced it well, the two mysterious abilities would be worth a lot. If you dare to waste it, I'll teach you a lesson. In order to obtain this mysterious energy, we paid a great price. Li Hao, if you don't improve greatly, you'll die in the next mission. Li Hao roared in pain. It really hurt. He wasn't afraid of pain, he just wanted to tell Lu Long that this didn't seem right. Why was it like this? Boom. Li Hao was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. At this time, he no longer used the ape art, but used the tiger fighting technique. The tiger fighting technique was more powerful. He could also vent his pain. Bang! The sandbag was sent flying with one punch, and the next punch came in an instant, bursting the sandbag. Li Hao erupted madly, and the blood vessels in his body bulged. At the side, Yun Yao took a look, nodded slightly, and said softly, "Your foundation is very good." New Book of Five Birds was indeed Elder Yuan's unique secret technique. Although Li Hao had yet to reach the 10-slashing realm, his physical fitness was extraordinarily good. For an ordinary person, after absorbing two mysterious energies, they would definitely bleed from all 7 orifices and have their internal organs crushed, let alone burst the blood vessels. Other than the swelling of his blood vessels, he doesn't seem to have any major problems. This physique was definitely comparable to a martial master who had killed 10. There wasn't even much of a difference. Lu Long also nodded slightly and said in a low voice, "This guy. His body is quite good." Was New Book of Five Birds so good? I've seen it, it's only used to cultivate the body and nurture the spirit, it has such an effect as a foundation. Maybe it's a secret edition. Yun Yao smiled. It was hard to say. She then looked at Li Hao with a strange expression. She wanted to say something, but didn't. Li Hao's body seemed to have absorbed some mysterious energy, but not now, but before. However, after absorbing the mysterious energy, Li Hao's strength didn't improve much. More importantly, Li Hao's body didn't show any signs of bursting blood vessels after absorbing the mysterious energy. Even if it was just a broken blood vessel, it could still be seen. In her opinion, Li Hao might have absorbed it, but only a little. Is it the mysterious ability of an extraordinary item? The kind that's extremely few in number. That was a possibility. Chapter 68. Discovering a New Continent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 68. Chapter 20. Discovering a new continent. At this moment, Li Hao roared. Roar. Like a fierce tiger descending from the mountain, the tiger's claws dug out the heart. With a kacha sound, he broke a wooden stake. Li Hao was also shocked. How was that possible? He had absorbed 2 different types of mysterious energy. The Jade Sword had more, gentler, and pure, so it might be the first hand of mysterious energy. However, the improvement it gave him was definitely not as great as it was now. The Demon Hunting Squad's mysterious ability was extremely destructive. It had been crazily coursing through Li Hao's body all this time, making him more destructive, more violent, and more valiant. Li Hao drank the same amount of mysterious energy on the first night, but it didn't improve much. He had absorbed it today. This was the 3rd time he had absorbed it. He actually felt that his improvement was even more intense than the huge pile he had absorbed the night before. At the side, Lu Long's eyes also lit up. All right. Li Hao, continue. It seems that the effect of you absorbing the mysterious energy is not bad. 2 masses of mysterious energy should be able to continue to increase your power to /10. Li Hao didn't have the time to think about it. The mysterious energy in his body had not been completely absorbed. Moreover, it was still scurrying about madly. He had to continue to vent. Roar. His roar was like a tiger's roar in the forest. This was also one of the tiger fighting technique sound attacks. Of course, it didn't have much effect in the past and only strengthened the momentum. Today, Li Hao's roar gave the illusion that a tiger had come down from the mountain and was roaring in the forest. It was so loud that it hurt their ears. The next moment, Li Hao suddenly clenched his fists and punched the ground. Bear fighting technique. The bear fighting technique of the 5 birds technique could better display the advantage of strength. At this moment, Li Hao was no longer limited to the ape technique. Instead, he used the 5 bird techniques one after another. He was best at the ape technique, but he was unfamiliar with the other bird techniques. However, Li Hao didn't care at this moment. Vent. He only had the urge to vent. Bang bang bang. A series of loud sounds rang out, and all the strength in his body was concentrated in his hands. The bear fighting technique focused more on the strength of his arms, the tiger fighting technique on the balance of his 4 limbs, and the ape technique on the strength of his legs. Lu Long had also been watching intently. He was surprised again and said in a low voice, "This body type is really not bad. This guy has absorbed 2 mysterious energies, and it's really possible for him to quickly reach /10. It was somewhat unbelievable. Of course, it was not impossible, but Li Hao's foundation was too good. Up until now, there was no bleeding from his 7 orifices. This was a rare sight. This meant that his physical fitness was first class. Lu Long couldn't understand. Was the 5 birds technique really that amazing? Even Yuan Shua's body was only so, right? The 5 birds technique is so effective in building a foundation, so why is Yuan Shua's body getting worse and worse? Lu Long muttered, could it be that he later adapted the new book of 5 birds? Li Hao learned a different version. Yunyao shook her head. She didn't know either. It was obvious that Li Hao was in good health. What a pity. Lu Long suddenly sighed and shook his head. If Yuan Shua had practiced this version of the 5 birds technique when he was young, with a good foundation, and without his physical condition declining and leaving behind so many internal injuries, he might have been able to enter the realm of the warrior of thousands. If he could become a superpower at the warrior 1000 level, Yuan Shua would be a giant in the field of superpowers. The more they looked, the more surprised they were. When Lu Yen came down, she saw that Li Hao was still waving his fists crazily and jumping around like a monkey. Lu Yen was also surprised. How long have you been fighting? Half an hour. Lu Yen was extremely surprised, he's not lying down yet. This absorption rate was too high. I remember some of the guys who absorbed a little bit of it just lay down and couldn't move at all. The absorption efficiency was frighteningly low. For some people, absorbing a little bit of mysterious energy might cause their blood vessels to burst. They would not be able to continue absorbing it, let alone digest it. Li Hao, on the other hand, had absorbed a lot of mysterious energy after half an hour of boxing. The conversion rate was too high. Lu Long was also stupefied. After thinking for a moment, he said, he can't practice so freely. Go up and let him practice. Me. Lu Yen was speechless. She looked at Lu Long and then at the smiling Yunyao. She cursed in her heart, what a bully. Forget it, he was the most pitiful here. Li Hao was still practicing. The next moment, he heard a laugh. Li Hao was not afraid. Only excitement. Good. He also felt that if this continued, it would be too tiring. The mysterious energy in his body had not been completely consumed. Up until now, only a large portion had overflowed, and there was still a small portion left. It was a good time to test it out. Captain Liu, be careful. At this moment, Li Hao also felt that he had become much stronger. Without saying anything, he turned around and attacked. They weren't afraid of accidentally injuring anyone, as the members of the demon hunting squad were all very powerful. The first to strike gained the advantage. Black Tiger Steel's heart. Li Hao shouted. His hands were like tiger claws, and his blood vessels were visible. He directly took them out of Lu Yan's hands. Little Li Hao, where are you digging? Lu Yan's smile was like a flower. Her figure swayed, and she instantly got rid of Li Hao. She puffed out her chest and smiled brightly. Someone's watching, don't take it out. Li Hao turned a deaf ear. The teacher had said that one had to focus on one's training and not be distracted. Don't think about all that nonsense. Flying monkeys. Li Hao roared again. He stomped on the ground and leaped into the air. Have you forgotten the lesson I taught you not to leave the ground? Lu Yan chuckled. That this guy was in the air again. This was a huge taboo. Just as he was about to reach out and grab Li Hao, who had stomped on the ground, suddenly borrowed strength from the air. His hands were like cat claws, waving randomly. He raised himself a bit higher and directly grabbed the light on the ceiling. Chapter 69. Discovering a New Continent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 69. Chapter 20. Discovering a New Continent. The light tube was very fragile. Li Hao only lightly borrowed the force, grabbed it with both hands, and jumped. In the next moment, he directly jumped over Lu Yan. Beautiful. Yun Yao suddenly shouted, revealing a surprised look. Lu Long also nodded and said in a low voice, Level 2 leap, using the force of the air to jump again, this is rare. However, this is an indoor environment. In the wild, there is no ceiling to borrow strength from. In the wild, Yun Yao smiled and said softly, he might not do this. No matter what, Li Hao remembered the lesson he had been taught last time. Instead of being grabbed from the air by Lu Yan, he directly jumped over her and grabbed her from behind. Such a reaction was extremely rare even for a newcomer. On the field, Li Hao leaped over Lu Yan, instantly turned around, and grabbed her from behind. Just as he was about to grab her, Lu Yan shouted in a low voice. Suddenly, a long leg appeared in front of Li Hao. Lu Yan immediately lifted her leg and kicked backward as if she had eyes on her butt. Furthermore, her leg was more flexible than anyone could imagine. If an ordinary person were to kick backward, their center of gravity would definitely be unstable, and they definitely wouldn't be able to kick high. It would be good enough if they could kick her butt. However, Lu Yan's leg seemed to be boneless at this moment. She actually managed to kick Li Hao in front of his eyes. It was unbelievable. Li Hao really didn't expect this counterattack. He had considered that Lu Yan would dodge, turn around, and bend over. The only thing he didn't expect was that he would suddenly kick backward. Bang! Bang! This time, Li Hao couldn't dodge in time and was directly kicked in the nose. Bang! Bang! Blood gushed out from his nose. Tears also gushed out of Li Hao's eyes. He was in pain and couldn't stop his tears. Li Hao cursed in his heart. He was also furious. This was too much. He didn't cover his nose and squat on the ground. He had suffered a great loss, and he was unwilling to accept it. Lu Yan might have thought that Li Hao would stop after she kicked him. Who would have thought that Li Hao would want to take advantage of the situation even if he suffered a loss? The moment Lu Yan pulled back her leg, Li Hao's nose started to bleed, and tears started to flow down his face. His vision was blurry, but he still kicked out ruthlessly. This time, he did not kick too high. He just happened to kick Lu Yan's butt. Lu Yan, who was pulling back her leg, couldn't avoid the kick. She didn't stabilize herself and was kicked by Li Hao. Unable to dodge, she staggered forward for 7 or 8 steps before regaining her balance. Turning to look at Li Hao, Lu Yan's eyes were filled with killing intent. On the side, Lu Long and Yun Yao were also surprised, but they didn't say a word. The whole basement was frighteningly quiet. When Li Hao was kicked in the nose, he actually retaliated. Furthermore, he even managed to kick Lu Yan's butt, sending her flying a great distance. Lu Long had never expected this. Li Hao. Lu Yan's voice became a little shrill. The next moment, Li Hao covered his nose, squatted down, and cried out in pain. Arg! It hurt. Sister Lu, you broke my nose bone. His anger was greatly doused in an instant. Lu Yan was both angry and helpless. Her nose bone was broken. She didn't intend to hurt this guy. Who asked Li Hao to make a level 2 jump and suddenly jump behind her. She instinctively fought back, but in the end, her leg really broke. She was not weak. I didn't mean to. Halfway through her sentence, she recalled Li Hao's counterattack and felt a little angry. At this moment, Yun Yao also quickly stepped forward and took Li Hao's arm away. She touched his nose and quickly smiled. It's not broken. It's no big deal. I'll be fine after resting for a while. Li Hao looked at Yun Yao with tears in his eyes. This woman was doing this on purpose, right? I know it's not broken. Wasn't it because I kicked Lu Yan away in the wrong place and was acting pitiful? Why are you checking me now? Hearing this, Lu Yan's eyebrows shot up. Just as she was about to fly into a rage, Lu Long spoke in a dignified manner, all right, Li Hao, well done. He then looked at Lu Yan and said in a low voice, a non-martial master's counterattack. You actually got kicked. Lu Yan wanted to speak but stopped. Lu Long said in a deep voice, Lu Yan, you should know how dangerous our journey is. You're slacking off. Lu Yan fell silent. Slacking off. He felt a little wronged. However, she had held back because Li Hao was not an enemy and was very weak. She was afraid that she would kill this guy. But she had indeed made a mistake just now. She had been kicked by Li Hao and had not been able to avoid it. If this was a mission, she would be dead. In the end, Lu Yan didn't say anything. She was a little annoyed and helpless as she turned around and left. Li Hao, on the other hand, glanced at the scene with tears in his eyes, not daring to say anything. There was a huge footprint on Lu Yan's butt. Lu Long didn't say anything and pretended not to see it. Yun Yao glanced at it and smiled. She patted Li Hao and said in a low voice, there are very few people who can make her suffer in silence. You're really unexpected. Li Hao was embarrassed. He didn't do it on purpose. Besides, it's normal to be a little surprised in a martial arts competition. I'll suffer a greater loss. A moment later, Li Hao finished dealing with the nose. As for Lu Long, he looked at him strangely. The two of them faced each other, and Li Hao felt a little guilty. Lu Long was silent for a moment before he said, your body is very strong. The absorption rate was very high. The 5 birds technique you're practicing is Yuan Shuo's modified version. I don't know, Li Hao shook his head. That's what my teacher taught me at the beginning. I don't know what version it is. You know what? Your foundation isn't any weaker than the average guy who can cut 10. Li Hao was surprised and confused. Chapter 70. Discovering a New Continent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 70. Chapter 20. Discovering a new continent. However, he knew in his heart that he didn't have such a good body before. The reason he had it was because he had absorbed the mysterious energy in the jade sword. Especially last night, he felt that he had become shorter. It was being compressed. At this moment, Li Hao was also very confused. The jade sword's mysterious energy wasn't quite the same. It gave him a feeling that it was too gentle and didn't have any substantial improvement effect. However, the jade sword's mysterious energy did have some effects that the mysterious energy he absorbed today didn't have. For example, a huge improvement in physical fitness. After absorbing the energy from the two crystals, Li Hao discovered that there was almost nothing that could be absorbed by his body. It didn't have the nourishing effect. Only destruction. Yes, destruction. He would continuously destroy his own muscle tissue and then cleanse it again and again. Then, it released a trace of energy and healed the tissue. The result of this was extreme pain. Of course, there was also an additional domineering power in his body that possessed extremely strong offensive capabilities. Two types of mysterious energy, completely different feelings. At this moment, Li Hao understood something. The mysterious energy in the jade sword seemed to be more of a nourishment to build a foundation for himself, while the one in the demon hunting squad had the effect of increasing his attack power. It didn't seem to be the same type of mysterious energy. No wonder both I and the Black Panther did not become much stronger. It's a fact that my body has recovered, but the Black Panther's fur is almost dripping with oil. If it was the mysterious energy today, the Black Panther would have exploded after absorbing so much. Li Hao was about the same. Nurture. Li Hao had an idea. This mysterious energy might not have an effect on increasing his combat strength, but Li Hao felt that it was definitely more precious than the one he had absorbed today. I can't say it even if I'm beaten to death. Thus, Li Hao didn't mind pushing the blame to the 5-animal technique. As for the teachers, it shouldn't be a big problem. Li Hao quickly said, maybe it's because my teacher is too powerful. Boss, you mean my foundation is about the same as a slash of 10? Lu Long considered for a moment before he said, in terms of physical fitness, the difference isn't that big. What's left is an increase in strength and speed, as well as a difference in experience. You should train more and participate in a few actual combat. Then you might really become a 10-chop realm martial master. Of course, the result of all this is still the mystery energy, he said. Now you understand how precious the mystery energy is, right? Li Hao nodded frantically. Understood. He couldn't miss the mysterious ability of the demon hunting squad. Li Hao thought of something and said hesitantly, Boss, I found out that the mysterious energy can destroy the body's tissues. Although it has healed, will there be any hidden injuries? Lu Long glanced at him with some admiration. He nodded and replied, yes. It was not that simple to destroy and then revive. It gave you more power, but it also stimulated your potential and put your body in an overdrawn state. So, you must enter the superpower realm as soon as possible. After becoming a Starlight Master, you can slowly nurture your body. However, in order to become a superpower, this is an essential step. Li Hao nodded. He had some strange thoughts in his heart. He felt that something was different. Some of the starlight energy he absorbed last night was still in his body. When the mysterious energy destroyed his body, Li Hao also felt the gentle mysterious energy repairing his body. Overdraw. He didn't feel that he had overdrawn. In fact, Li Hao had almost fully recovered. He didn't feel too tired or in too much pain. Boss, is there a limit to the absorption of the mysterious energy? Of course. Lu Long explained, every time you absorb it, it's a form of destruction. The mysterious energy is too strong and it has damaged your body's structure. For a newbie like you, absorbing it once a month is your limit. It's too harmful to your body if you absorb too much. At my level, I can do it a little faster, 3 to 5 days will do. But That would also require some mystery for us to absorb. Was it? Li Hao didn't speak again. He felt that it wouldn't be a problem for him to absorb it now. The mysterious energy on the jade sword is not ordinary. He realized this point again. It was too extraordinary. It's a good deal for the Black Panther. I told you it would be fine after absorbing so much. So the mysterious jade sword has the function of nourishing and healing the body. At this moment, Li Hao felt that it was time to distinguish the mysterious energy on the jade sword. It should be called starlight energy. It was different from the other mysterious energy. Thinking of this, Li Hao suddenly became curious. Boss, you, my teacher and the others have been absorbing a large amount of mysterious energy for a long time and have not advanced. Don't you have a lot of internal injuries? It's normal. Lu Long said indifferently, if I advance, I'll naturally recover. If I don't advance, my internal injuries will explode. If I die, I'll die. A martial master with more than 100 points has a lot of internal injuries. I've never heard of a martial master who doesn't have any injuries. Can't the superpower realm heal internal injuries? If it's cured, wouldn't it be easier to advance? It's not that simple. Lu Long shook his head. Let's not talk about whether there's anyone in the superpower realm who can heal you. Even if they can, they're our precious treasure. Why would they help you? Can you afford the price? Don't think too much, you should be thinking about how to become a superhuman and become a starlight master, not about healing. He thought that Li Hao was afraid. Li Hao, on the other hand, was thinking about something else. Teacher. His teacher was old and had hidden injuries all over his body. Moreover, it was very likely that he had absorbed the mysterious energy many times, causing his injuries to worsen. In the past, he had heard that his teacher often coughed, but he had thought that it was simply because he was old. But now that he thought about it, perhaps the mysterious energy could be absorbed, which led to the serious injury. It was because his teacher's breathing technique of 5 birds could absorb the mysterious energy more easily. If he absorbed too much, he wouldn't be able to level up and the internal injuries would be even worse. What if? Teacher also drinks a cup of water of starlight. Can you heal your internal injuries and advance to a super? Li Hao didn't intend to hide anything from Yuan Shua, because his teacher had been very good to him. He had even taught Yuan Shua the secret techniques without any hesitation. Furthermore, if his teacher could really become a superhuman, then he might be able to give him more help and confidence to deal with the red shadow. If 1 cup isn't enough, then 2 cups. Or perhaps I can directly let teacher absorb a little from the jade sword. Li Hao fell into deep thought. As for exposing the jade sword, in fact, he didn't have that many thoughts. If it was exposed, then so be it. With his teacher's intelligence, perhaps he had already guessed it. Jade swords, right, I also have a stone knife. Even if teacher really wants it, the jade sword is a family heirloom. How about I give the stone blade to teacher? Zhang Yuan was already dead. Li Hao felt that little Yuan wouldn't mind giving away the stone blade if he could avenge Zhang Yuan. Work hard on your cultivation. At this moment, Lu Long patted Li Hao's shoulder and encouraged him, your foundation is very good. Strive to completely digest the mysterious energy within these few days and truly step into the 10 decapitation realm. That way, you'll have a better chance of surviving. Time was running out. Li Hao hurriedly nodded. At this moment, his eyes revealed an unusual look of expectation and desire. The desire to become stronger, the desire. And a little more mysterious energy. It didn't matter if it was the kind in the warehouse or second-hand. This kind of domineering mysterious energy seemed to complement the starlight energy of the jade sword, allowing him to obtain even greater benefits. If there's more, I'll give some to the Black Panther too. This guy ate so much starlight energy, he definitely won't die. Maybe I can raise a dog in the 10th realm. Li Hao swallowed his saliva. Black Panther was a dog. If he hid it and used it as a trump card, it might be of great use. It's a pity. I've absorbed only 2 of them. At this moment, Li Hao realized that the mysterious energy was really good. It was reasonably expensive. He no longer disliked it. He really wanted more mysterious energy.